Welcome to Take Care of Your Body by Rye. I'm your host, Rylan Rosano, and I'm so happy to have you here. I'm back. After a 2 week break, I'm excited to be recording podcast again, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you're new here, my name's Rylan Rosano. I am a published author, a global podcast host of the lovely show you're listening to right now. I love all things health, wellness, and coffee, and on this show, I sit down with various health and wellness professionals and really just humans. And we have conversations about taking care of the body, mind, and spirit because it truly is so important. Taking care of yourself goes into every single thing we do, and my show is pretty much promoting self care, self love, and just taking better care of you. I honestly think about it like this: everything you do as a human being, work, school, the things that you enjoy require you. So make sure you take care of yourself so you can do the things you love and the things you get to do as a human being. If you haven't already, follow the show so you can stay up to date every week for new episodes. And also, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Take Care by RY. That's my wellness and podcast Instagram. And for all things book and my life related, you can find me at Rylan, RYLIN I also, like I said, I'm a published author. I have a book called Once Upon a Time I Survived Myself. It's a memoir written about my life and experiences we all have gone through as humans to make you feel less alone. So definitely check that out. And recently, I released a mental health self care guided workbook called Not Yet Healed or Ready, the Take Care Workbook. That can be found on Amazon as well. I'm really passionate about helping others and just truly promoting the good word of self love, self care, and overall wellness. Again, thank you for listening, and I'm excited for you to listen to this new episode. Venus. Hey, Starry, how are you today?
I am good, doing well, getting like a little buffered by the internet flow. So I think we're doing great. And thank you. Happy to be here.
Of course. No, I'm so mad. We had like such a good conversation going, and then suddenly the tech world was like, not this session. You're gonna have to start over. And I was like, but it's fine. It's okay. Everything happens for a reason. So
Only two takes is pretty good. So
right. I'm
take
proud of
it.
us. Life
Yeah,
happens, and I think for everyone listening, you just have to like take this as your sign that things might not go your way, and you just have to be adaptable and be able to adjust. I think as humans, we get so mad when things like don't go perfect. Like, oh, I want to go to the beach, but it's raining, so now I'm having the worst day ever. But you have to like think about it as like, I want to go to the beach. Yeah, it's raining, but now I can go make cookies and watch a movie. Like you have to
yeah,
think about it
it's
positively,
beautiful. That's
right?
perfect. It is. You got to be able to ride the waves and go with it's, kind of cliche, but you do have to go with the flow or you're going to be in a
Right.
bad mood.
Because that's life. Like life just sometimes doesn't go the way you want it to go.
No, usually it never will. And that's fine. That's the beauty of being in it because then you learn how to do it. And that's when the magic can happen, actually.
Exactly. I love your name, by the way. That is so amazing.
Yeah, thanks. I'm actually like, officially starry, like Starry Venus on paper. So yeah, my grandmother's name was Lovey. So,
Oh,
her real name. So yeah, I don't, you know, I like it.
it fits you really well. Like your energy and just everything about you, it fits you well. So I love that you have that name officially. I think it really matches your personality and works for you.
Yeah, it's cool. When you just like ride into a name and you're like, wait, this really is me. And the more you just step into that and really embrace it, like I did, and I'm like, yeah, I'm starry. And the more I am starry, the more starry I feel. And it's just kind of a cool thing to like take charge of your name that way,
Agree.
and step into it. And it's fun.
I agree. Definitely. It definitely is. And I just think like, with anything in life, like you just have to be proud of who you are and know like if other people don't get it, that's okay. You're just like so content with yourself that someone saying something or just not understanding why you do what you do in your career or just with anything about you, you just are content with yourself. It doesn't matter. And I think just getting to that place is just so healing too, especially.
Yeah, it's definitely it's like an arrival when you do get to that place. Because it actually took me a little bit of time to get to like what I call like full starry. I went through a few iterations and different things, and even like you said, like with different things we do and how people may see that or whatever. And you really have to just throw that out the window if you just, when you walk in that whatever that is, you really can't listen to anything anyone else says when you're becoming who you are. And
Right.
yeah.
Especially in this industry too. Like I remind myself all the time, not everyone is going to like me, and that's actually a good thing because I don't want to be liked by everyone. I don't like everyone. And just, imagine if we all liked each other. No one would be challenged. Like we'd all I don't know, it'd be like eating sugar, like liking sugar. Like if we all like sugar, all of our health would be failing. Like you just can't like everyone and not everyone's meant to like you. And if someone doesn't get why you do what you do, you got to keep going and moving and just saying, okay, you're not my person. Next. And it sucks because I take a lot of the stuff to heart, but I'm just reminding myself, like, they don't get me and that's okay. They don't have to be here on this journey.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have to be part of that journey, but interestingly enough, they are part enough to like give you that contrast or give
Right.
us that contrast. And that contrast, I feel like, is that moment of like where we can end up having that conviction, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be this, I am this. And so those people who might not, really get it or whatever it is, yeah, it's a crazy industry that way. But the reason why usually, the people that shine in that power that they are is because they also walk that path and just say, hey, that's not gonna, I'm this, and you have no ability to, take me away from it. In fact, I'm gonna be more of what I am because I don't resonate with you telling me I can't be that.
Exactly. And I think like when you just embrace who you truly are, that's like the magic of it because everything you do is like an extension of you and you know it's coming from your heart and who you truly are, your highest self. I think that's important as well because a lot of people like within the industry lose themselves along the way trying to be perfect in this amazing version that they can share online and just in front of other people at events or on tour or whatever. And it's like I resonate with people that are their most authentic selves. And that's what you see is what you get with me. Like you can look at me online and then you're going to talk to me and get the same exact thing. And I think that's the beauty of it, just being the same person throughout your career and your personal life because it makes everything so much easier and you don't lose yourself along the way.
Totally. And you don't want to lose yourself because if you lose yourself, you can get into situations where you witness, people who become compromised in a certain way, because they don't hold that line. But it's really a beautiful thing. Like when you just have to have confidence because if you look out in nature, look at a garden, look at the way flowers grow, look at the beauty. Beauty is like that space of imperfection, that place where we might think it's, somebody might say, oh, that's not, you measure yourself, but look at a garden. It's amazing. This flower grows that way. This flower grows that way. This grows like that. You got a weed growing up through, a flower growing up through a crack in the road. It can be the most beautiful thing on the planet when you can connect with that. So like I think artists, creators, and all of us like in this realm, like we have to be that like we have to realize like that's the power of our creations when we come up through that crack and we just are this beautiful blossoming thing,
Right.
without
I love
yeah.
that. No, and like I think it's so easy to be like, oh, well, I'm not, like this creator, I'm not this person. And then you realize like sunsets are beautiful, but so are flowers, and they look literally nothing alike. And I think just having that in the back of your head, it's just like, wow, like we all are in this industry and that's beautiful, but I'm not like them and that's okay. It doesn't make what I'm doing less than because it's different.
Yeah, and I think we're in a time where it's my hope anyway, and I think I'm seeing this is like where that different can be even more supported and embraced. I think people are actually wanting that difference, and we're watching, some things kind of fall away, old systems and things like that. So I think there's a lot of room right now for that different to step forward so that it's like, people I hope feel encouraged to be that. I know I am. I'm like, I'm not your normal so and so at all, and I'm not gonna be.
Exactly. Take me or leave me, but I'm gonna keep me, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Like, and you just have to go with that because where do we get this notion of what's perfect anyway? It comes from a land of dinosaurs, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Like who said that? Who
Yeah,
who even
yeah,
started this crap?
yeah.
I'm just like, why are we just gonna try and fix something that's not meant to be fixed and we're just meant to, beat this system and be ourselves and let that be enough? Because it is like when you're just yourself and you're putting yourself out there as you're gonna find the right people. I believe that.
And I would say, like, the pathway I'm on, even at this moment, is a testament to that. And I see it in other people that I know as well. And yeah, I mean, I think that's the beauty of the times we're in right now. These really powerful times, like, energetically and just all that kind of stuff. If you want to look at that realm of, where we're at, cosmologically, astrologically, all that. But however you want to look at it, but it's like there's a lot of open doors right now. But I think a lot of us too, like, may not be used to like, oh, you mean I can just like do this and walk through and be bold and be all these things and yeah, there might be voices saying blah blah blah, but they're kind of old. They're old voices, I think, especially towards the feminine, especially.
No, right. Like, I don't know what pisses me off. And like, I feel like you're really going to agree with me here is when like females are looked at differently depending on what they wear. I had someone like, I was like professional, still dressed up professionally. I just was wearing a really cute outfit and some skin was showing. And this lady commented, she was like, I don't know if that's how you want to be portrayed as a author and podcaster and wellness professional. And I just was like, what are you trying to say? Like, what I wear makes me less than who I am and what I'm building. I think that is just such bull crap. Like truly, I think like we have the right to to express ourselves within clothing and within just art in general. And there's nothing saying you can't wear something really cute or like really expressive and it makes you less than whatever you are creatively.
Right. And so you just articulated that so well. And I think like just I would say like you have to embrace like you wear what you want to wear, be
Right.
what you because you don't know where that particular person was saying that from. Like that probably, no offense to them, but like, it's coming from their own insecurity or their own like projection. That to me is like a lot of people project onto the feminine, like here.
Right.
But no, 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 no. It's like you gotta just there is no rule. Why should there
Right.
be a rule? There
There
should
is
be,
no rule. So
yeah.
why have we made one?
And did we make it or
No.
it made and imposed on us? So now as you're coming out, like with your work and, these things that are, it's really important, actually, I think that you really hold the line to something like that. Say, no, actually, I'm going to wear this and this is how I want to be and look. And, that's part of that feminine. That's like a real feminine empowerment, in my opinion. It's not, dress this way, be this way, do this, do that. You do not need to, none of us need to be doing that.
I agree.
I, yeah.
I agree because it's like then we'd all look the same and that's so boring. Like the hell? I don't want to look like everyone else.
It is so boring. And that's the thing. Like, we're here on this planet. Like, why should we be boring?
One
Don't,
time, by the way. Like we only get one chance at this shit. So like why not do it right?
yeah, and it can take a long time to realize that too. Like, I'm here also a sense of play. Like, I feel like females too, like the feminine in especially in the business stuff, like remember to have, and this is for myself as well, but like you can you can play, like play with your identity, play with how you feel as a, play with your image, like just like because of the internet, ironically, and all these things, like there's a lot more freedom now to just like you know, really step into that. And you do not have to adhere to these older ways. And why should we make it boring? Because
Exactly.
that's part of the Venusian thing for me. It's like that Venusian reality, that Venus energy. That is like, let's have fun. Let's step with this and let's honor each other because of that. Like, you know, I
What
mean, she should
zodiac
have
sign
been,
are you?
been like rock. You're like rocking that. Like,
Right.
of course.
Do what makes you feel good about yourself, especially too. Like you just have to. It's your life.
Yeah. If you don't, you're gonna be sad at the end. And
Exactly. You're gonna be 85 wishing you wore a really cute outfit when you were like, young and free. And then you're like, damn, I should have.
no, and that's probably true. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen this. I've seen this in some people who are, there's a lot of people who, what are you gonna think about? Yeah, I wish I had more fun. I wish I played a little more. I wish I embraced that difference. And I don't, it's a good reminder for me too, just like have permission, have permission. We reflect each other. And through all the things. And yeah, it's so important. It's so
I
important.
agree. I agree. What zodiac sign are you?
And yeah, Virgo too. So I'm very scorpionic ultimately. Like I've got a lot of Scorpio energy.
I'm a Scorpio, so that is so
Okay,
funny.
perfect. Yep. Yep. Gotta love it.
I love it. No, truly. Makes so much sense into like what you're saying too, like why I'm resonating with it. I'm like, wow, that makes so much sense. Um, so you've been featured in Rolling Stone. Holy crap, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
music has Grammy buzz. How does it feel to create something so cosmic but also so grounding?
It feels really good because was my intention, is like especially like to be in that like when I made this music, this version of the music, I just said very much similar to our conversation here. I was like, I am just going with the feeling and the energy and the feeling and the energy. This is how I need to do this first. This is how I need to start this. So it was very, very cosmic connected when I was creating it. And so it's pretty cool to like see people actually connecting and getting it in that way. And it is grounded at the same time. Um, but yeah, I actually threw everything out the window when I decided to record this particular way for this music. And I didn't know how it was going to land. I had no idea. Yeah.
Isn't it like the coolest thing that you can just do something that you love and you just feel good at the end of the day? Like, damn, I'm really following my passion and this is who I'm meant to be, and I'm doing something that I feel good about at the end of the day. Like, that's just the
Yeah.
best feeling.
I think that's it's like riding, it's like you go out surfing or something and you're riding a wave and like, oh, I did that. It's not that it's not challenging, perhaps, while you're in it or whatever. But yeah, that's a beautiful, like that is one of I think it's a resonance with like creation. You're just in the flow, you're connected, you're doing this thing. And if you can say that at the end of the day, I think that's success right there.
I agree. And I just like, I don't know, like it breaks my heart how many people are so unhappy with their jobs. Like, I don't think you should have a job you hate. Like, I think if you're gonna do something for the rest of your life, it should be something you enjoy. And I'm not saying like go into the public eye if you don't want to be in the public eye or whatever, but still like sit there and evaluate, like for everyone listening, especially like why do you do what you do? And like if you don't know the answer, I think that's not the path you should be on. I mean, do you agree with me, Starry?
Oh, of course I do. I mean, I fully agree with you, and I've seen it and witnessed it and, different people and situations in life. And I also think that's a part of like where things are changing because the more you step in, you get into that empowerment, then you don't have to work that job and you can create. So you can create we really are at this time where like you can step in and be these creators. And some people can really do that, and some people fall back on that. I think again, it goes to like programming in a lot of ways. Our world has been like projected onto us the way you should be. So I got to go do this job. I'm not, blah, blah, blah. Instead, like, well, you could turn that around in a moment. if you want, by just like realizing how much power you have in your situation in your life. But again, it takes being risky with yourself, being willing to walk that edge and say no to the system. You don't need to do that if you don't want to. Don't.
Oh, right. And like
Yeah.
when you realize that, it's so freeing too, because you're like, why am I doing this? And you just think you're supposed to, and then you're like, no one's sitting there telling me to, so I'm not going to.
Yeah. Yeah. And realize like, well, what is it like that everybody has a gift somewhere or some kind of, thing and to that they can bring and foster and, nurture and just take a risk on. And I think it comes down to really like saying yes to something that's so your own signature, so your own self, and the world around us just like, it's been operating differently for a long time, but we have the power to completely change that.
Truly. And like when you realize you can build your dream life, I think that is just the most powerful thing ever. Like truly are the author of your own life. Create a good story, write it the way you want. Like no one is going to sit here and tell you how to write or live your own life. And it's just embrace who you are because like I don't know, I've been reflecting and I'm gonna have to probably like send you the link to my book so you can check it out. But I've been through a lot and I feel like when you go through a lot of shit, it's hard to realize like who am I without everything I've experienced. And just yesterday, I was reflecting and I was like, I really am happy and content with who I am in all aspects of my life, like creatively, personally, professionally. I just was like, I'm really, really happy with myself. And I just think that is a space everyone should get to.
Yeah, and I think there can be a challenge for people sometimes because, to get to that, and this goes back to kind of that Scorpio energy, because a lot of Scorpionic people, like, we're not afraid to go into the deep and the dark and like really process usually. And it takes a certain level of willingness to go in and really like process or whatever it is. It doesn't even necessarily mean process. It just means you get comfortable maybe with the uncomfortable, or you can like be okay with these spaces that might take you really deep, and then you come up and you're like, yeah, I'm good with this because I already went all over. I went deep in myself. I went deep around. I've been through this. Some people don't always have that ability to just, they just kind of bounce around and avoid that. But when you can really embrace that the things that you've been through, those moments of like, wow, this is kind of make it or break it here. Oh, I made it. So then you get above that. You decide, I'm taking a risk on this. I'm gonna be myself. I'm going above. I got this. And then you look, you come up and you're like, wait, yeah, I am happy with this actually. And if you can do that, again, that's like your foundation. That's how you're walking in the world. And and I think that, it's like a fortification almost. But it doesn't come without like usually taking a risk or really kind of being okay with like some, it's like for me personally, like I'm cool with the darkness. I'm cool with like if I get in a bad mood and I go down to the depths and it feels kind of like, whoa, because I also trust that enough to know like I'm going to come up and I'm going to be able to create from that and stand stronger because of it. And I am happy with that. I like that process. So, being happy doesn't mean you're like not paying attention to things. It just means, you're full. You're in a fullness. So you're in a fullness with yourself. I think that's a really beautiful thing.
I agree. And I think like honestly, like some of the best things come from some of the most horrible situations that we've experienced as humans. And when you realize like you have the power to make something better, it's like, wow, like I can make this horrible thing happen to me, this amazing project or writing piece or whatever it might be, use that to my benefit. I think shifting the narrative is just so healing too. Because a lot of people like I don't know. I believe there's two ways to look at it. You can be sad and cry and feel sorry for yourself and eat ice cream for the rest of your life, or you can feel the feelings and then get up and say, you know what, I'm not going to feel like this anymore. I'm going to do something with the pain and turn my pain into passion. And I think the second one is always so powerful. And that's where a lot of artists, I would say, like get inspired to write some of these songs and release their albums and drop all this amazing music and creativity that we all know and love, but we don't really think about that as the consumers, like the pain and the passion that had to go behind the project. So do you want to kind of share the other side of things since you are, a professional on that end?
Oh, sure, totally. I mean, what you're saying reminds me of like what I went through when I was actually creating this music that I have out right now, and then I'm also like doing some dance versions that are really, really cool. So it's I'll go into what happened, in the middle of recording the music, and I thought I was going to release it during a certain timing, and I actually had this experience where I was up in the middle of the night and was in the kitchen. I was like getting a snack at like 4 in the morning or something. It was just like an innocent moment, really. But it was during kind of an intense time, and a friend had just passed away and all this stuff. And it was the night after we had a ceremony for her and all these things. And I don't know what happened, but somehow it was the most bizarre thing ever. But I ended up like I blacked out. Like, nothing, no altered substances, nothing like that. I just literally had this weird, bizarre experience. I black out. I end up like 10 feet away from where I was standing on the floor. I fell straight on my face. And I kind of lost consciousness. I woke up like bleeding, my teeth, my nose, my teeth got like pushed in, and I had completely lost consciousness and basically had a near-death experience, like where I was just like I transited out. I had no memory. I just came in. I saw myself like coming in through these pine trees, and I'm like got in my body and just looked like I couldn't figure out what had happened and how long I'd been there. My first thought was like, have I been laying here for an eternity? And so this whole process, it was major. I got a major concussion. My teeth got crooked. I went off and like suddenly I could not work. Like I couldn't even focus on the music. Everything I had planned, ready to go do, off the table. So, and I had to go through this big like integration healing process, trying to understand. And it was terrible in a way because I was like, are you kidding me? What's happening? But I really had to surrender to that. And I did. So it took some months. Like I went to Hawaii and went to all these things. Had to just like deal with this like whole thing of like, wow, I just left the planet. I came back. I'm totally different in my body. My consciousness felt different. When I heard the music again after going through this, I hated it. I listened to it and I was like, oh my God, no one's going to understand this. This is the most nonlinear thing I've ever heard in my life. Like I couldn't process that I had made that music and actually had to come back in. So I went through like kind of a long, dark night of the soul through this whole process and a lot of, just things. So then it's months later and I'm finally getting back to it. And then I ended up releasing the music, completely different time period, I had to go remix things, do things differently. And then I got it to where I wanted it. And then it kind of coincided with some other things that I couldn't have anticipated. So once again, here it comes, divine timing. This here we think, oh, I had a plan, it got blown out of the water, off the table. I had to do all this stuff I didn't want to do, and I did it, and I've been doing it, and it's major. It's kind of brought me to another state of consciousness that now I feel like it was a lot of pain, and coming in, but now I can pull and create from that, and I am, and these other things are coming into play. So I would say like my plan got blown out. I had to do this whole thing, dark night of the soul, everything, and then come back in, and the creation is stronger. The timing is perfect. The timing is perfect. And it just shows me, yes, we step in, we become ourselves. We have to surrender when we do. We go through that. We know, we identify, we know we can learn what pain is. And yet there's still something like holding us every step of the way, something bigger, way bigger.
I
And
know. And it's like, whoa, you don't know, and then you know, and you're like, that's why that had to happen. Like it always makes so much sense. Months or even sometimes a year later, you're like, I get it now. Like, and I think we live in such a like a hustle culture. We all want more, 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 more. And you just have to like trust the timing of your life in any regard, but just realizing like everything happens at the time it needs to happen. And sometimes you might not understand the why behind it, but there always is one.
There's always a why. And I don't know if we'll ever fully, I think part of our magic and reason for being here is to kind of explore that why. Like, why is it here? I don't know, but it is. And we don't necessarily have control over that, but we do have control over how we choose to operate within something that can be that like unexplainable, that why. I don't know. I don't know I have an answer, but it's like it's going to keep happening, and in this industry too, like you do end up wanting things, but there's like constant kind of surrender, like, yeah, no, there's something bigger happening here. There's something much bigger. And so it is a dance in a way, you're in a little bit of a dance with how to take command and how to surrender and how to take command and how to surrender. And then you create, you know?
And I
Yeah.
think like, I feel like we all have these thoughts like, oh, no one's gonna like what I'm doing, no one's gonna want to listen. And then you realize like you don't know unless you put it out there. Like you could be holding on to the most amazing project that someone needs and has been spending their entire life looking for. And if you just, let the doubt stop you, then what? You're not helping that person. You're holding that in. And that's kind of selfish of someone to do, to be like, I have this amazing idea, but I'm not going to release it because I'm scared. I think you should just do it scared, do it scared, do it sad, do it heartbroken, just drop the project and you might help tons of people. I mean, did you have moments of self-doubt where you were a little bit like, why am I doing this? Is anyone going to resonate?
Totally. I mean, like even what I just did and just like came back and like I'm, working on this dance track and part of me was like, what? Am I crazy? There's just certain aspects of like when you take a risk and you go in there and you're doing something. I mean, there's those voices I think that come all the time, but what you just said is so important. And somebody else just said that recently to me as well. It's like you don't really know. It is kind of selfish if you contain it. So when you say yes and you're taking that risk, because the doubts, it's a natural part of our humanity. We're gonna doubt ourselves sometimes. And I just did recently. I was like, I'm making this dance track and I'm like, is it really going to do what I want to do? And like, am I crazy? Should I really be doing this? But this is everything I want to be doing. And will we get the energy in? There's all these things. And should I be blah, 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 all the things. And at the end of the day, I think what you just said is really profound, actually, because, you said something like about, do it scared, do it vulnerable, do it in those spaces. And that's really, I think, really powerful to remember that because that's the medicine for the doubt right there. We're going to have doubt, but hey, so what? Do it. Say your yes.
Exactly. And it's like another thing, it kind of goes back to what we were saying in the beginning, where it's like a lot of times I feel like I have this theory. It's called the mirror theory. And it's like a broken mirror is going to sit there and judge a normal, non-cracked mirror because that mirror shows them what they need to work on to become the highest version of themselves and maybe some of the things that they wish they could do, but for whatever reason haven't healed that part of themselves, etc. And I think that's where a lot of this jealousy and hatred comes from because we see people shining and succeeding, and we're almost like, well, I would have to grow and change and work on myself to get there. So instead of taking the steps to get there, those people want to hate on us and judge us for just embracing who we are authentically. And it's like, when you think about it, a regular mirror wouldn't judge a regular mirror. It's always the broken mirror that's going to judge the regular mirror because they see sometimes themselves in that version of us or whatever. And they're like, damn, I would have to be like her to get to where I want to be. And I don't want to do that work. And I just think when you realize that, it's so healing because it kind of erases the whole not everyone's going to like me, or, what happens if people don't like me? Then you're not for them. And that's okay. I mean, just clap. If someone unfollows me, I'm honestly like, thank you so much because you're making space for someone who's meant to be here.
Yeah, you are making space. And I love that. Actually, I really love that mirror theory. I haven't heard anyone really say it that way. And I think that's a really brilliant
You.
way to describe what ends up happening, So uh, what are you going to do? Mirrors crack, glass breaks, people are, and then you get into kind of a ricochet effect of like projections because of that happening, and I think that's where the more you just like we're saying, like you stand in that place, you embrace your power, you wear what you want to wear, you call yourself what you want to call yourself, you make the work anyway, you transcend that doubt, you take those moments. And because people are always going to be like blah 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 blah, there's always going to be like that. But the mirror theory is kind of interesting because I think that that's a great visual way to kind of explain. We can throw around like the word projection and say, oh, projection, but you're kind of giving it like a visual, a really nice way of visualizing what's happening when somebody is projecting. And so somebody could understand that better by just like kind of hearing you say that. And then, realize like, yeah, ultimately everything is a projection. We're projecting it, we're very much like commanders of our reality in a way too.
I agree. No, I agree. And then, like, again, like, people are always like, oh, what are they going to think of me? A lot of times, like, humans, like, when I go out in public, I'm worried about how I look and, like, what I'm doing. I'm not thinking, oh, this person over there has messy hair and they look horrible. Like, I'm not going to think that about someone. I hate that, like, we all think everyone is thinking about us when we as humans are really thinking about ourselves. Like, as self-absorbed as it sounds, we are always worried about us. We're not worrying about the little things of other people. And I just like think when you think about things like this, nothing's stopping you from sharing your artwork.
Yeah, nothing is stopping you from sharing your artwork. And that is, that's been my path for the past, couple of years here doing stuff and in general, but it's like, yeah, that's just it. There is nothing stopping you. And so share it and do it and but that's the beauty of art. That is the power of art.
It is. It's all different too. And like
Yeah.
that's what's amazing. And like I don't know, I'm just sitting here also and like when I think about the haters, I'm just like you're jealous of me, but you could pretty much be doing everything I'm doing. You can write a book, you can start a podcast, you could create a brand for yourself if you wanted to. I mean, I feel like we all nowadays have the tools to learn how to do these things. It's not hard. You can release music. Anyone can do anything they put their mind to. A lot of the time these people just don't want to or want to think that way or learn something new to get them on that path. And I think it's just like you don't have a place to judge if you're not going to walk the shoes I'm wearing.
Yeah. And what's interesting about that as well is there are some people who can, will not walk that path. But let's say you are. And some of us say we have that ability to go, okay. Well, and I think that, we're gonna step out there and do it. And there's an action, there's a piece of that. It's like where some people just they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna walk that path. They might have the energy, the ability, or the possibility, but they don't go that full direction of like, yes, I am doing this. I am doing this. And I think some people get like kind of off put by that when they witness somebody going, oh, well, I'm saying yes, I'm going out there, I'm doing this. And I think that's where the hate can kind of come from sometimes. It's like kind of watching something really vulnerable and strong get up there because art is always good art, in my opinion, always is vulnerable. It always has something vulnerable in it. And for us to witness and be part of. And that's beauty. That's so beautiful. And people can, I mean, why is anybody hating on that? Really? I don't know. But like, I have no idea because I kind of like, I won't listen to that. I
I don't
can't.
either. I'm just like, I'm blown away because it's like, would these people want someone to judge them when they're doing their thing, whatever their thing might be? Probably not. So, why are you going to sit there on Instagram or in real life or whatever and hate on someone for doing their thing? Even if your thing's not making music and writing or, releasing songs or whatever, if your thing's baking, you wouldn't want someone to be like, well, your treat sucks. I'm never going to eat it. You should stop, whatever. You know what I mean? When you think about it that way, it's like, why are you hating on someone when you probably wouldn't want to be spoken to that way?
Yeah. Well, and you've got a great voice for this too. I hope you're speaking to these haters because I mean they need to hear this. It's just like I think it's like again, they're just not using their energy. They're not using their energy, so they misdirect it and they're like blah blah blah, let me pick this apart and whatever. And
Like,
why? You got
it's like,
nothing better to
thanks, don't worry. I spent 20 minutes picking myself apart already. Like, you don't
yeah,
need to do it for me. Like,
perfectly
what?
That is a perfect response. I think that's a great response to anyone who is like that. It's like, well, okay, you can go find something better to do. But the thing is, these
Right.
people usually may not have something better to do because they're not directing their energy, towards their own,
Benefit.
they need to direct it to their own path. And when they're not doing that, you're going to focus elsewhere and be like chop, chop, chop. And there's no reason to do that, really. If you don't resonate with something, you don't have to, we all have different resonances. I don't expect everyone to love my music. You don't have to be part, if it's not your thing, that's fine. But it's just different things. But we don't need to, hate on each other. That's a very strange thing, I don't
Right.
understand.
And we have enough of that in the world, which I don't like either. We don't need to hate on other people for just expressing themselves creatively. I don't get that. I don't.
Yeah, because it's a bold act of being to express yourself creatively and take command and write that book or make that song and or look how you want to look. And we need to support each other doing that. We really do.
They do, especially with the mental health crisis. It's horrible because I'm sitting here and I'm like, I have thick skin. Like, yeah, I'm a lover girl and I love people and I take things to heart because everything I do is kind of a piece of my heart, right? But I'm just like, you know what? Okay, say what you want to say. I'm gonna keep doing me. Like, I've gotten to the point where I just like I let it flow off my shoulders. But it breaks my heart sitting here thinking about these people who might not be in a good mental state anyways, and then they're doing whatever they're doing, maybe because it's saving their life. Who knows? Sharing on Instagram or being creative might be their lifeline. And someone's commenting something horrible, and then next thing you know, they're gone because they just couldn't take it. I'm just like, you don't know what someone's going through. Be kind.
Mhm.
It costs nothing. It costs nothing.
Yeah, it costs nothing to be kind. And I don't know. I think people maybe they just think they can get away with that online because it's not like, would you do that to somebody's face? Like, would you look someone in the eye and speak to them that way? Would you really do that?
Probably not.
But you come behind this kind of like, internet curtain, and maybe people are a little disassociated, so they make these comments that can be really hurtful or whatever. And absolutely you do not know what somebody else is going through, whether they're super famous, super well known, your neighbor or someone on the, just in the car next to you, whatever it is, you really don't know. And, unless you know them personally.
Exactly.
And yeah, I think that people just get kind of disassociated online. And that's why, like for me, like, I have to be, I keep it really simple with the social stuff. And it's kind of hard for me actually to do like social media. I'm like, but it's just, yeah, if you wouldn't say it to somebody's face and look them in the eye, I don't think you should say it at all. And then again, why? What are you? So I think again, it's just people, it's really strange that, anyone would think that's appropriate, because we really need to, yeah, I would never want to see somebody kind of like back down from what they're doing just because they got a hateful comment or whatever. And certainly when you're vulnerable and you're creating, that's the last thing you really need, is somebody pushing you down. It's one thing to critique work or say, hey, blah, 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 you could refine this or we could work this a little better. That's creation. But yeah, just like,
I
you
agree.
know,
I
gotta go.
agree. And I think like honestly, you just have to like put yourself out there. Just do it. Like that's my philosophy. Just do it. And like it sucks and it's hard and social media is so scary, I think, but you just have to truly do it because you just no one's going to do it for you. You have to make that choice. And if you don't make that choice, then you're probably going to miss out on something huge. And you just have to start. You have to get started. And you'll just learn along the way. And I think that's the most amazing thing ever, too. It's truly a learning experience, also.
It is a learning experience. And it's just like, yeah, just be it, do it. And it's like by doing that, you become this light, you become this beautiful, like you become that power and things get attracted to that do resonate, and you do have to kind of have thick skin to some degree, just because of the nature of the reality we're in with that social world, like, but like I'm not on TikTok or anything like that. I mean, um, I don't really know exactly what it's like, but partially because as a creator, it's hard. I think too, when we get into creation and we are working and doing all this stuff, it's like hard to have all that chatter in your consciousness, when people are just like saying the things they say. I don't want a lot of that in my mind if I'm creating something. So I tend to kind of shy away from, I don't always know like what's going on in the social world because I don't even want any of that negativity in my mind.
I
But
agree.
yeah.
There's too much negativity out there. You can't like sit there and focus on all of it because it's almost like if you let something negative control your life, then bad things will continue to arise. It's like I don't know, I even said this in an Instagram reel the other day. When you're at a really low space, you're going to tend to attract negative people and low energy. But when you're doing well and you're happy with yourself, etc., you're going to find people that make you happy and you're going to find good people. And I just think that's the most interesting thing in the world because it really shows you like energy is everything.
Yep, energy is everything, and we have to remember that. And we are our energy. We are our own energy. We every one of us is like this energy field. And this is very true for me, in Sedona. It's like you experience Sedona will just amplify everything. So if you're kind of holding a field that is resonating on like, you're in that negativity or whatever, it's very true. Like, you'll be shown very quickly, like, yep, watch your life fall apart, but oh, shift a little bit, watch your life come together. Oh, step into this higher command. It's like we are the commanders, and energetically, we have jurisdiction over our whole field, our whole energetic field. And we can, by being, really connected with that and conscious, we get to create our reality. But we do have to just like, all right, yep, that's just going to bounce off that you're going to bounce off. And I'm going to wear the shirt I want to wear anyway. And these things, they're very powerful choices, even if it seems small, because that's where we get to have that reality, the one where you're saying like, oh, I get these good things. Well, I get these good things because I'm making these choices that are, um, they might seem small, but they're super important. They're very important.
I agree. They really are like truly like just anything that makes you resonate, I guess, with the highest version of yourself is so important, really.
Yeah, yeah. And people might say like, oh, that's selfish, or you're so like blah, 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 but that's not true, to just like be in that choice making point of like, yep, this is me, and this is me, and I'm choosing me. That's not a selfish thing.
No, I
That's
mean,
very
it's your
important.
life. Like, why? That's what I don't get. Like, we call humans selfish for what? Like, protecting their energy and setting boundaries because we don't want them to do that. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Challenges the system.
yeah. And we are in that time right now where we definitely are challenging the system by doing everything that we're talking about in this interview and what you're saying. And yeah, and we're challenging the system, and the system is slowly crumbling, slowly kind of falling apart. So there's a lot of power in being yourself right now.
For
There's a
sure.
lot of power in that.
Sure. So, how would you say like living in Sedona influenced your creativity?
Oh yeah, it just what it did and what it does is it gives me permission. It's like giving me permission fully to go totally into the realms of, spirit, consciousness, uh, those vulnerable places. Because out here on the land, when you're in this land and you're in this type of desert, and the energy that's very, very, very powerful here. There's never an off button in Sedona. It's like you're just kind of challenged by anything. You're going to be spiritually challenged here. But so going through that and being kind of in that, like I'll go out in the land and just kind of get in these spaces. And I don't even have words for those spaces a lot, but you get in there and you're just one with the land, you're one with the spirit, you're one with like all these other places, these interdimensional kinds of consciousness places that come in. And what it does when you go out in that and then you come back and I'm like, oh, I'm going to make a song. Uh, I just have such permission to go into what it's like I don't have a normal mindset like, oh, I have to make a song that sounds like this and I got to do this. I need to translate what I just experienced. So how I'm going to do that is just there's no rules right now. I just connect. Can this feeling come through the melody, the lyrics, the song, the feeling I had out there on the land? And Sedona is just a constant, it's like challenging. And at the same time, there's just total permission to go full force into, everything that this consciousness is, everything that I am. So
I
she
love
wants you
that.
to be yourself here. She really does.
I love that because I think like it's easy to like get caught up in what you think you should be doing, releasing, producing, whatever. But when you go outside and you're like inspired, that's who you are and what you should be sharing. Like your truest feelings should be in everything you do. And I love that that's what's in your music. I think that's so incredible.
Yeah, that's very, it's really important to me actually. I really wanted that experience that I've been having here because it would be so deep. I mean, it was like, just like go up to this cave in the middle of like nowhere and sit there and just soak in all this stuff. And um, I didn't want anything to limit what I was experiencing, out there in the music. And I just it was important. So I actually recorded the music a certain kind of way. Like I had a method just that allowed a lot of that to come through with the way I did it. It was very unconventional. But you know, yeah. So
There's something healing to that, you know? Like just really being who you are in every way, you know?
yeah, you gotta and to do that, sonically with music. Like I got this dance mix coming out that it was really important to me when we were working on this track uh, to maintain this energetic reality that's in the music. And we did that. So I'm super excited for it. This is going to be like super awesome when it comes out because it's doing something different. But yeah, I have to, that's non-negotiable for me as a creator. Like I just, and part of what being in Sedona is about. It's just, I'm not going to compromise where this is coming from and what it means. And so again, I just, I'm going to just make the music and you can resonate or not, but that's what it is. It is very connected to being here.
I agree.
Yeah.
What's next for you? I'm obsessed. I'm following along. I want to be
Great.
in the loop.
Okay, so I've mentioned this a few times, but I'm excited because I just went out to LA and so when I recorded this music, I had the intention all along that I was going to take it to the next level and make different iterations of the songs that I have now that I would call like the organic original version.
Love
And I
that.
knew that I wanted to create these dance mixes, but not just an ordinary dance mix. I wanted to create something that's just going to do what the music is doing, but do it in a dance version that's going to make you like get up and we're going to put these tracks out on the dance floor and it's going to be this positive message, this deep connection, not just something superficial, but it's going to get you moving and dancing. So I wanted to bring this transformational energy that's in the music and into the dance mixes. And so I just went and did that with a producer. His name is Kizzo, and he's an amazing, like, Grammy winning producer. And it's kind of cool because him and I have the same birthday.
Oh,
So
so
it's
cool.
just, and again, we're going to go into this thing of like, there's no way we could have predicted how him and I got connected or the timing and the things. And there's nobody else who could have created the mix we just created probably at this time besides him. He just had such a resonance and has that resonance. So we just went out and I worked with him. We worked together on this track, dance mix of the song Stars, and we love it. It is just, we've gotten a studio, we work together and the magic happened. And so I'm really, there'll be, you can just follow on Instagram and stuff like that to find out news about when it's coming out. And I'll have a video that'll go with it, but it's next level. I love it. It's doing everything I want and I'm super excited. And I'm going to be making more dance tracks, but they're not, it's like gospel, like it's like an energy. There's no description really for what's happening, but it's super amazing. And it all comes from this organic way of creating vocals and recording, being super authentic. So it's kind of like you haven't quite heard a dance song like this, but it's super rockin' and amazing. And so that's going to be coming out like sometime this month.
Oh, I'm so
Probably.
proud of you. I can't wait to hear it. Like, I mean, you're all over Spotify, you're on all the platforms. For everyone listening, you can go find her everywhere. Just type her in, you'll see her.
You'll see a bunch of stuff. Yeah. So it's easy to get to. And Instagram's a good place to just kind of keep up with any news I put out about the song. But yeah, it's a great song. I'm excited for it. It does everything I want. So I'm really proud of it actually. Like I think, people are gonna really get it. And
I'm probably
it's
going to. I'm gonna be messaging you. I'm gonna be like,
yeah,
wait,
you're gonna be like,
hold on.
Are you dancing in Florida to this song? We gotta get it to the, I got a couple of people, I know some DJs out there. But yeah, we want to get it in the circuit. I want to play it on the dance floor. So it will be for sure. Uh,
Manifest it. Come on.
yeah, yeah. You can cruise in your car along the beach and just turn it up and just be
Exactly.
like, what? But the thing is, you're gonna hear it and you're gonna be like, yeah, I feel good. I feel good. Thank you.
And that's how music should be. I think that's how everything should be. I think we should all be putting something out there that leaves people with weight, that makes me feel good about this situation or just myself as a human and just existing. We need more of that.
We totally need more of that. And so anywhere that's why, I think that's why, again, like the haters come in because they're like, wait, I'm used to hate. I'm going to hate on this. But, actually, no, don't hate. Like this is good. Let there be good, and we can remember that too as creators and, author and, our image and just like, when you do wear that shirt you want to wear, it's like, I feel good. So you're not going to mess with me, and the more we do that, then I think others will start to learn like, wait a second. Oh yeah, I don't, I don't even need to hate. Why am I hating? It's just, so I think we can change that reality too by being who we are and getting those good moments and messages out for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for joining me. This interview truly like reminded me why I do this and just made me feel good. So thank you for being you.
Sweet. Thank you for being you because yeah, it's awesome. I actually, it's refreshing and really sweet to talk to
Oh,
you. Love
that
it.
means so much to me. I'm so honored that we connected and I can't wait to continue to stay in touch and follow along.
Yeah, I'll see you in Florida and we're going to get you out here in Sedona, right? Like you
Yeah,
come
no,
out,
I have to come. It looks beautiful.
you absolutely do. Like you got to get out here and come to the magic and get your little spiritual, like, and then,
Yeah.
go back to where you are. But yeah, we'll definitely, stay connected on that.
Thank you so much, Starry. Have the best rest of your day.
Okay. Thank you. And I want to check out your book too. So
Yeah,
make
I
sure.
will send you the link. I'll send it to you
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Wonderful.
Bye. Thank
Okay.
you.
Sweetness.
You're the best.
You
Bye.
too. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this new episode of Take Care Your Body by Rye. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at RYLINROSEE for all things life, and for all things health and wellness and podcast, follow Take Care by RY. Thanks again for listening and for being here and joining me on this journey of health and wellness. Also, make sure you check out my book, Once Upon a Time I Survived Myself, on Amazon if you want to join me on a journey of healing from hard things we've experienced as human beings. And if you want a lighter way to heal, you can check out my new guided workbook called Not Yet Healed or Ready, the Take Care Workbook, on Amazon as well. And let's just heal together. As always, with love, Rye. I'll see you next week. Make sure you go have some coffee. I'm surely going to.